Hello and welcome to our first official episode of Visual Voices, and we're here with a very special guest, Eliza Smart. And we've got an audience today in the studio that is our favourite artsy pub.
We love this pub.
We're
here every week, at least once every week.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. If you could just introduce the current project that you're working on, tell us a bit about it.
So I'm doing at the minute like a feminist sort of body of work that really is looking at the connections between women and nature. And then I've got things like influences from like folklore and fairy tales. So I did a shoot recently of a few of the women I know in like big flowy dresses at this castle ruins. So I really want to kind of show the connection between women and like the earth and like everything. But yeah, also they're a little bit eerie. I kind of want to look at this idea of heterotopic spaces and how we connect with certain places and how women connect with certain places as well. As it's a whole thing. But yeah.
Sounds so interesting. And what sort of cameras are you using? So I know you've been doing some analog with...
Yeah, so I'm primarily doing analog photography. I'm doing 4.5. I'm using the Toyo 4.5 fill camera, and I'm using, instead of using film and dark slides, I'm putting light sensitive paper into the dark slides and shooting directly onto the paper, so that I'm coming up with these more sort of grainy, a little bit. They're not sharp, they're kind of grainy, a little bit grayscale, sort of negatives that I'm then making big prints of, and yeah, it's all very exciting.
So with that process, do you feel yourself being more intentional? Do you have that shot in your mind visualised first, or is it coming together when you're on the shoot?
I think it depends. I think I go in with a few images in mind, and I follow a lot of people on Instagram that I take influence from, obviously. And I kind of try and surround myself with the imagery that I want to create. Yeah. So things I do have a Pinterest that I religiously I'm scrolling through, but yeah, just wherever I can find inspiration, I kind of go with those shoots with those sort of things in mind. But again, it's kind of, you get there and you see, yeah. And it depends who you're working with as well. I did a shoot the other day with my cousin, and she's 13, and I was kind of expecting her to be a little bit not awkward in front of the camera, but not
shy.
Be shy. Yeah. But she was amazing. She got so into it, and it's working with people like that kind of have that creative vision as well makes my job so much easier. It's very.
So do you think that this is something you want to continue after your degree, exploring this same project? Do you have any idea of what sort of field you want to go into yet?
I think so. I mean, yeah. I have always wanted to do fine art photography. Yeah. That's always been the ideal, but obviously you've got to kind of balance it. Fine art is never going to be a stable thing to go into, but I've never really had a massive sort of interest in fashion or anything. Yeah. But I'm sure that there'll be opportunities for that. Yeah. For me.
And there's crossovers between...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting, and I think it's really exciting what you're doing, especially using such analog processes in a time where, creators are being pushed in a different direction of all this new technology. Yeah. So I think it's nice that you're, going your own way with it.
I think you have that massive influence of social media and stuff, and everyone is producing so many pictures. Yeah. I think when you go out and you spend a whole day shooting and you get 14 pictures by the end of it, it's kind of you treasure those, you have to get it right. Whereas if I go out with my digital camera, I will get thousands of pictures and I will hate all of them except for 10. It's well, you're so much more precious with it when you have to be conservative about how many photos you're taking and everything. Yeah. And I mean, producer Sarah, we did a salt printing workshop the other day, and it was just amazing. All of that alternative processing, older experimental stuff. I love it. I just think it's so interesting. So much more than just going on Lightroom and banging it out.
I think that's really great. There's definitely more like tentative care put into your creative process, and I think that really comes across in your outcome as well. And I'm really excited to see how the work comes across in the final exhibition.
Yeah, so am I. I think we were talking today, I'm kind of like wanting to lean more into doing more like collage work, like stuff like Deborah Turbeville did, because I just think that like kind of putting it all together and like putting like masking tape across it and like ripping up prints and everything kind of has that sort of like detached look that I like really think like works well with my work. And like when we did our pin-up, it kind of, that the feedback I got was very much like lean into that, like, so yeah.
That's really exciting. And you touched a little bit about how we're seeing so much on social media and stuff. How do you find that as like a budding artist? Do you feel pressured from the amount of content other creators are putting out? Do you find it inspiring? Like, how do you navigate?
I think it depends, but I think that I think sometimes it can be really inspiring. Like, because I'll go on my Instagram and I'll see, you know, all of this amazing work, and I'm like, I want to be out there creating stuff like that. But it also is like, it, you know, it has its negatives. Like, I know, like, with like such a like influx of social media and like people, like body image changes a lot. Like I have friends that, you know, you scroll through their Instagram and it's half naked women that they're like aspiring to look like, and my Instagram doesn't look like that, because why would I want that like on my feed constantly? So it's kind of that thing of like, you have, it's hard. It has a purpose, obviously, but then there's so many negatives to it, and it's like, I don't know. But to me, I think if I think about it, take a step back from it, detach myself from it, that is where I get a lot of my inspiration from. Yeah. So I can't bash it too much.
It is a tool that we can use for creativity, but then on the same, you can get sucked into the negatives of it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think over when I was like doing my dissertation, and like I would scroll through like my Instagram or like wherever, like TikTok, Twitter, everything. Like, I think I was kind of getting a bit like down because I couldn't go out and do stuff that I wanted to do, and I had all these ideas, and like, because I was so focused on like doing my dissertation and like other things and like being at home for Christmas, and it kind of like, it's like you don't really, you're not able to like go out and focus on the stuff that you want to do. And everyone, like everywhere you look, everyone's like bombarding you with all these images of like amazing things that you're like, I just want to be out there like doing stuff. But
But now we're back to it, back to the creativity, the dissertation's handed in. I'm interested to hear about how you found the whole university experience and how, you know, you felt you've evolved as a creative over the 3 years, because you're obviously in your final year now. Do you feel that there's been a drastic change in the way that you approach a project from first year U to now?
I think it's interesting because I did just photography at college, so I've had like a longer time to just focus on photography. But even like looking back to the work that I did in college, it's like very similar to the stuff that I'm doing now. But I kind of did have a break from that. Like the first 2 years of the degree, I didn't really feel like I did the stuff that I was interested in until this project now. Because I feel like it was very much like we were told, this is what you need to be looking at, this is what you need to be like researching, like philosophers you need to be like looking at, and it's kind of like, that's great and obviously gives a bit of structure to it, but it was never like what I wanted to do. Like it was never like, this is the incredible work that I'm like so into. So I think that definitely changed changed my creative process, because I wouldn't be as into it. I think it was just like,
you were going through the motions.
I felt distance from the work. So, but like now, I mean, I think the most important step of like my creative process is going out and actually doing stuff. Like I've had like 3 shoots that I haven't written up yet from like November, because I'm just like, if I'm rolling with it, then I want to stay on that. Like I want to like be able to bang it out and then revert and be like, you know, this is what the influence was. This was, you know, and then that whole process leads to another like spurt of creativity, and it's like, it's, you know, you're constantly like on top of something. But I don't know, I think people work differently, because I know that a lot of people that like the girls that I live with, they cannot do that. like Ella is like, she's on top of it 24/7. She's got 3 like sketchbooks all full, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it.
How do you find living with other people on the same course as you? Because I think you guys are having a unique experience. You're all on the same course, right?
Yeah, so there's 7 of us, including me, and we all study photography. And I think there's pros and cons to it. So we have like very similar like interests. So we're all like interested in like feminism and like nature and all of this. And so like a lot of the time we can kind of butt heads a little bit, but then it's like, because in like a creative industry, I don't want to say that we're all like competing, but we kind of are, and it's a shame, but then it's like also I know that like when we come to deadlines, I have all this work, and I like, if I'm struggling like with piecing it together or like fitting in ideas, and like I just need to talk it out to someone that knows what they're talking about. I've got 6 other people downstairs that can just but me and Nicole, we had a conversation the other day because she's doing like nature, women, but she's talking about like menstruation and like the lunar cycle and everything, and we kind of had to sit down and be like, look, I don't want to see your work until it's done, just because like I just, even like subconsciously you take that on board, and like I love Nicole's work, and she's like really like, her stuff is kind of similar to mine. She does a lot more digital though, but I think we kind of were just like, I think we need to distance ourselves, because it is like you just subconsciously like, I don't know, take on everyone else's ideas. And
definitely, I think that's great that you guys had that observation and, you know, like self-awareness to sit down and have that conversation and do it in a way that's not going to be, you know, immature and like, you're copying me, but you sat there and be like, okay, we need a bit of space. I think that's really great.
Because that's the thing, we don't want to like argue about it, because her work is so different to mine. Visually it's quite similar, but contextually completely different. She was looking at like completely different things. Her like talking to her about like her processes and stuff is just completely different to mine. But like when we had the pin-up, we put our work together, and it really like worked nicely together. Like visually, it like kind of like her work was here and mine, it moved into different, I thought it worked really well. So when we come to the exhibition, I think having like those close relationship with those girls will be something really helpful, because we can like curate our work around one another and create this sort of space that we're all interested in. With like all of our work, I mean, I love all of their work, but I think it will be interesting to see how it like fits all together.
Definitely, and I think you're going to leave this university experience having a really good network, or not only of friends but also of like creatives that, you know, hopefully we'll all grow alongside each other.
I think like, because we are so like close as like a year group, I think that's really like helpful for all of us, just to know that we like outside of uni we have this sort of like connection, like my success is your success, like, you know, it's like if I get opportunities that I don't specifically think that I fit for, I will have like 10-15 people that I can be like, oh, I really think that you would thrive in this position, like I've been offered this thing but I think you should like go for it, kind of thing. And it's like, it's really, it's nice, because I mean you are competing, but it doesn't have to be like that. I think
you can help each other grow. I think that's what I like about photography, and all the photographers that I've met all seem really excited to skill share and help build each other up, and people established in the industry as well really want to help get like us, the next generation, up into it. So I think it's really positive. I think one final question I think I'd like to ask you is, has this university experience like met your expectations? What did you expect coming, and how is it?
I mean my sister came to the same university 2 years before I started, and so I'd come up and visit her, and I'd see like, I mean it's such an inclusive place, and that was really something that drew me to like want to apply here. And the first year I was in a studio on my own, so it was all very like lonely for the first few months, and I was like, I'm never going to make friends, this is awful, I want to drop out. If I don't have friends by Christmas, I'm gone, done, no more uni for me. But then I like met the girls on the course, and like I really just got so into it, and like it's been such a like lovely experience. And I think looking back now, I am so glad that I like got out of Essex, like met new people, not the laugh, but like met new people, yeah. But like, I feel like I have really grown the past few years, and like really like, I couldn't have done it if I stayed at home and like not met the people that I've met, and like, I don't know, it's such an inclusive place, and I think that really like, I don't know, I think it's lovely. I don't have a bad word to say about it.
I think that's so lovely, and it's amazing to hear, you know, that you can go from thinking, oh, I'm going to drop out and have no friends, and now you're at a space where you can see how much you've grown because of the people you've met. I think that's really...
Yeah, and even like my family will say like, you're thriving, like there's, you know, like never seen you so happy, and it is. It's like, I just feel like I've really like found my place here. Yeah. But I mean, brings on conversations about what's going to happen after I got moved back home. So, but yeah, no, it's good. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you so much for coming today. I think it's been a really great conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You can check out Eliza's work on our social media. Ari will be tagging her. And yeah, can't wait for you guys to hear this conversation.